Good morning. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I certainly did. It was pretty relaxing for me. And now it's Monday, and now it's time to get back into streaming. Last week we were streaming the crafting interpreter stuff. We got as far as section 6. We were about to start section 6.3, but I like to mix things up a little bit. So this week we're going to continue with our roguelike tutorial. We're on section 5.20, which apparently is section 4 is 5 dot something, which is confusing, but I'm just going to roll with it. Okay, so let's see if we can just reset our brains here and figure out what we were doing. All right, let me switch my screen over. Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, we just finished up section 6.2 in this crafting interpreters book, and we're about to start. We just finished town portals on 2 weeks ago. We finished town portals, and now we're going to work on magic items and item detection. And I was just checking over here to make sure we're all up to date, and it looks like we are. Yeah. Okay, so magic items and item detection. Let's read this. Magic items are a mainstay of both D&D and Roguelikes, from the humble sword +1 to mighty holy avenger and back again to cursed backbiter. Items help to define the genre. In Roguelikes, it's also traditional to not automatically know what items are. You'll find an unidentified longsword and have no idea what it does or if it's cursed until you find a way to identify it. You'll find a scroll of cat walk down keyboard. The unpronounceable names seem to be a feature. And until you identify it or read it, you don't know what to expect. Oops. There we go. I don't know why that happened. Some games turn this into an entire metagame. Some games turn this into entire metagames, gambling on frequency, vendor prices, and similar to give you clues as to what you just found. Even Diablo, the most mainstream roguelike, even if it went real time, most mainstream roguelike of them all, has retained this play feature, but tends to make identify scrolls extremely plentiful, as well as helpful old Scotsmen. Alright, so it's common in modern games to differentiate magic items as being magical, rare, or legendary. Okay. Along with item sets, which we won't go into yet. I'm not sure what item sets are. These are typically differentiated by color, so you can tell at a glance if an item is even worth considering. This also gives an opportunity to denote that something is a magic item, so we'll open up components RS and register in main and save load and make magic item. Alright, so we're just creating a new component, which we've done a million times before. We're going to create an enum with lots of things on it. I wonder why we're going here. Debug, serialize, deserialize, clone, EQ, partial EQ, and hash. Did we have to do that before? Oh, we did. For this guy. Okay. So, oops. Let's just put it here then. We have common, rare, and legendary. Like that, and then we're going to have and the thing I'm leaving out is debug because we've never needed it. Pub struct magic item. Okay, and then we have to register it in main. I'll just call it. It's just called magic item, and we can sort it. There we go. So So it sorted right into here. Good. And then in save load. Oh, tutorial, save load. There we go. Okay, that's in the save side and that's in the load side. Okay. The next step is to let items be denoted as magical and having one of these classes. So in raw's item structs, oh, I see. We're just throwing this on here. Okay. And all right, and then one of these things here. And this will convert, I guess, between the two. Sure. Why are we using a full struct here rather than just a string? We're going to want to specify more information here later in the chapter as we flesh out the magical items. You can now decorate items in spawns.json, for example, health potion magic class common. I've added the common magic tag to the magic scrolls and potions already in the JSON list. See the source for details. It's pretty straightforward at this point. Okay, so let's do the same thing. I guess we can look for... Oh, we can't. That's alchemy, consumable effects. We can look for effects. So this is a town portal scroll. So this should be magic. Oh, I guess we can say comma, magic, colon, class, common, like that. Why is this still red on the comma? Oh, I have to hit escape. Okay. So there's a town portal scroll. Breastplate is not magic. Wax, dragon scale, chainmail armor, health potion. Here we go. So we add that. Add that. Fireball scroll. Why are these all listed under alchemy? Magic mapping scroll. Rations are not magical. Meat, hide, dry sausage, beer, rusty longsword, dagger, short sword, longsword, battle axe, shield, tower shield. I think that must be the last one that's magical, right? And then we're into the mobs. Okay. So let's save all that. Make sure it all checks. All right. So then we need to modify spawn named item to apply the appropriate component tags. Okay. So this is in raw master. It's right here. I guess it doesn't matter where it goes. You can just put here if let. Okay, so then we're going to decompose the class. It's rare. It'd be nice if this were actually part of the enum, right? And then anything else is just common. Right, we should be able to say, you know, item like class equals magic item class from string magic class. And encapsulate that inside this particular class, or this particular enum. Rather than having it separate out here, but oh well. With magic item class. Okay, so this should work. There we go. Oops. Yeah, okay. Now that we have this data, we need to use it. For now, we'll just want to set the display color of the item names whenever they appear in the GUI to give a better idea of magic item value, just like all those MMO games. And GUI will make a generic function for this purpose. So get item color. All right, let's go to GUI. I guess we just, oh, this is tooltips. It's game over. I guess it doesn't matter where it goes. This is a public function. Oops. World, and then item entity returns RGB. Get item. So it's looking up in the list all the components that have magic item. So all the entities that have magic item. And getting this particular one. This is doing RGB of 0.5, 1, and 0.5. So it's mostly green. And then rare and legendary. So there's no red in that one, and there's no, well, it's all blue-green. So it's cyan for rare, I guess. And then we'll find out what legendary is. It's 0.71. 0.15 and 0.93. That's an interesting mix. Otherwise, it's just RGB from F32. Oh, it's just white. Okay. Did we get that right? We did not. Unexpected token, comma. What else? What did I mess up? Is it just because I don't have magic item class here? I mean, we're gonna have to pull it in, right? Yeah, but what's this? Why is this not? I mean, commas are right. Oh, magic item is still not found. Okay. But, okay, so that fixes all of those import issues, but why is this, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I put a dot there. How did I end up putting a dot there? And how did I not see that for so long? Okay, so that all checks out. Mizard, thank you. Sorry, I didn't see your comment until I got it to compile and then glanced at chat. Let's see. So now we need to go through all the functions in GUI that display an item name and replace the hard-coded color with a call to this function. In Draw UI, line 121, that's going to be very different to what we have. Right? This is line 121. Expand the equipped list a little. So where's our equipped list? Here it is. Okay. So let's line these up. We have entities. We have to grab those. Let entities, ECS entities. There's equipped, there's name. So entity, equipped by entities. Okay. Equipped by owner is player entity. Print color. Oh, and then we're going to call get item color instead of calling it white. Like that. There we go. Okay, that checks. The same change in the consumables section. Where's the consumables section? I don't see a consumables section. Oh, this is consumables. Okay. I wonder if we can just reuse the same entities, right? Because this is going to be instead of the green, we'll call get item color. Wait, this just has ECS. This has GS ECS. Can we just do ECS here? And then entity, and we have to put the entity in here. Like that. Cargo check. We're going to leave the two tooltips alone. Improving them in the log are the subject of a currently hypothetical future chapter. In show inventory around 321, drop item menu, remove item menu, and vendor sell menu. We're going to do this. Okay. Oh, but of course we changed this to just show menu. We refactored this. Drop menu and remove item menu. That's why we only have to make one change. See how smart we were? That's the heading. This is the letter. Oh, okay, so it's here. And we change this to print color. So get item color. In this case, do we have to do GS ECS? We do have to do that. GS ECS and then entity. And we get entity right from here, so that's all good. And then we put a comma there. Oh, I forgot the black. Oops, that's not going to compile. I forgot that this needs RGB from F32 0 0 0. Okay, that checks. Excellent. Be warned, these lines will change again once we add item identification. With that in place, you can cargo run. You can see your town portal scroll is now nicely highlighted as a common magical item. All right, let's generate the WASM file here and reload, refresh my... These are all green. I guess we're going to change those to white because they're not magical. There we go. Yep, okay, so these are white now, and the town portal scroll is green, and if I buy a, oh wait, I have to make some money. I can buy nothing magical there. If I go find the alchemist, reveal the map. Let's go find the alchemist. This is nobody, right? Peasant, somebody's house. Who's this? That's a blacksmith. Oh, so none of those are magical. That's somebody's house. Who's this? Clothier. I'm looking for the, oh, that's a rat's nest. There's some armor in there too. Who's this? That's a priest. What can we buy from? Oh, priest is not listed as a vendor. Interesting. Nope. Wow, this is taking a long time. There we go. There's the alchemist, and there's a person walking through the walls here. Dead thing. Dead thing. Oh, these aren't green. You'd think that these would be green, right? Did I do the wrong thing here? Okay. If I say B, my gold. Oh, okay. Yeah. So health potion is also in green. And I'm going to take a look here really quick. dead thing. Yeah, so it's just this random dead thing. And I'm not sure what it's supposed to be and why it got spawned. Oh, it's a dead thing that just happens to be in this room? But what would cause it to be chosen? I'm looking to see what other word dead is in here, and there isn't, so... That's weird where this came from. Alright, so these are green, but in the menu they were not, and I don't know if that's a bug. So let's go quickly take a look here in the Gui code. And look at that line we just edited. It should be this guy here. Yeah, so it's passing in the entity, and it should be passing in these entities. So they should be the right color. Oh wait, I'm looking here now. Maybe this is the wrong menu. Wait a minute, because these are yellow, right? And this is yellow, but this is white, and this is ending up being yellow here. So am I looking at the wrong code? Maybe this, maybe this code doesn't, let's go buy which item. Oh. Yeah, so we have a vendor buy menu, which is different. I forgot. It would be nice to refactor this as well. Okay, so let's set, and here we go, print. So this should be print color. And get item color, GSECS, entity, and then RGB, F32, like that, right? And sale.0 is the name. What is sale itself? Like, is there a sale.1? Where's sale here? It's everything in the inventory. So that should be... Okay, hang on. Let me see what this is. Oh, it's just a string and an F32, so there's no way to know... Yeah, it's just a string and the amount. Ah, I see. We call get vendor items. So there's no actual entity yet. It's just a list of things. So we can't make these colored because we don't know what they are until they get created. Hi, Bear Duda. How are you? Right, all the if I look at get vendor items, it's just going through all of the raw data and looking to see what strings are available. And because we don't have entity data at this stage of the game, we can't color these appropriately. That's a shame. Okay, so that means I have to undo what I just did. This will just be print. Get rid of those two lines and get rid of that line there. And then just make sure we put everything back to where it should be. Yep. So did he say vendor sell menu? Yeah, isn't that what we're in? Oh, the vendor buy menu. Oh, okay. So we can actually see the color when we're selling. That makes sense because we're selling actual entities. So these should be able to be colored. Epic Dick says, Happy New Week. Happy New Week to you too. Yeah, so in the vendor buy menu, although this is also doing this thing here. Or did I go too far? No, there's vendor buy menu. Oh, this is getting a list of things that the vendor would buy. But we should also be able to see what... Vendor... Oops. That's the old code. I don't need that. The vendor sell menu. Right. Where's vendor sell menu? Here's vendor sell menu. Okay. So here we've got the entity. I see it. Okay. So instead of print here, we'll just say print color. And it will say get item color, GS, ECS, and entity. Oh, we already have black. No, we don't. But we do have named RLTK black. Yes, okay, that checks. Let's regenerate that WASM. We'll take the 20 seconds it takes to do that. Just to see that, make sure that the sell which item will actually show these things in green. Okay. And can we sell? Yes. Okay. So now it shows it up in green. Okay, good. Yeah. So now your town portal scroll is now nicely highlighted as a common magical item, and in your inventory, if I just say I, it should also show up that way too, right? Yep. Okay. So all those work. So now let's work on identification scrolls. All right, let's get this checked in first. Hello, there we go. Highlight magical items with rarity colors. There we go. It's pretty common in roguelikes for potions to have thoroughly unpronounceable names when you don't know what they do. Presumably, this represents some sort of guttural utterings that trigger the magical effect. And as much fun as it would be to build a giant grammar around this, the tutorial would be even bigger. So a scroll of lorem ipsum might be any of the scrolls in the game, and it's up to you to decide to identify it by using it. A gamble, it may not be what you want at all. Get it identified, or just ignore it because you don't like the risk. Let's start by opening up Spawner, going to the player function, and removing the line that gives us a free town portal. It's overly generous and would mean you'd have to start knowing what it is. Here. Okay, gone. So here's the fun part. If we were to simply assign an identified name to scrolls, the players could simply learn the names, and identification would be little more than a memory game. So we need to assign names when the game starts, and not when the raw files load, since you may play more than once per session. Let's start in item structs and add another field to the magic item indicating this is a scroll and should use scroll naming. There we go. Now we have to go through spawns and add naming tags to our magic entries. Oh, we just say naming scroll. Okay. Okay, so we just say this, comma, naming, scroll. Like that. Okay, done. We already have a structure that persists through the whole game, but remains a global resource and resets whenever we change level, the master dungeon map. It makes some sense to use this to store state about the whole game, since it's already the dungeon master. We're also already serializing it, which helps a lot. So let's open up maps dungeon RS and add a couple of structures. We have maps. Let's see, identified items and scroll mappings. We'll have to add hash setup here. Okay. We'll also have to update the constructor to provide empty values for now. We've got default in there, so we don't need to worry about that. The idea is that when an item is identified, we'll put its name tag into identified items, providing a fast way to tell if an item has been identified yet. Scroll mappings is intent to map the actual name of a scroll with a randomized name. These will then persist for the duration of the game session and be included in save games automatically. In order to populate the scroll mappings, we need a way to get hold of the item names tagged as scrolls in the raw files. So in Raw Master, we'll make a new function, get scroll tags. All right, I guess we'll just put it here. Doesn't matter where it goes. So what are we doing here? Mut result is vec new, creating a vector of strings for item, raws, items, iter. If it's magic and it has a scroll naming, then we're going to add it to the list of results, okay? Why is there an ampersand there? I'll just check it real quick. But this is a, oh, I guess this is a string reference and this is a string, so we have to, okay. I guess. I'm still not 100% on Rust knowledge here. So this obtains access to the global raws, iterates through all items looking for magical items that have the scroll naming convention, and returns the names as a vector of strings. We won't be doing it often, so we won't try to be clever with performance. Cloning all those strings is a little on the slow side. So now in Dungeon, we further extend the constructor to make scroll name mappings. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do this. dm is equal to this. And here we go again with creating a brand new random number generator, which we shouldn't be doing if we're going to make it have a seed to start with. Okay, we're creating a new function here called make scroll name. And then we return our dungeon master. Done. Okay, so let's make scroll name. Oh boy. I guess we can just put it at the bottom here. It's a private function. Make scroll name. Where are, so I'm still bugged by the fact that yeah, master dungeon map. Where does this get created? Right here. So we should be passing in a random number generator with the seed at this point here. Let me just take a quick look at 498 and see. Yeah, we should be able to. It's the game over cleanup. There's got to be another one of these, right? I don't see where else it's created. Oh, here in main. Yeah. And it's before we insert the random number generator. So we should do this first, and then this should pull it out of the world instead of creating a brand new one. All right. I'm getting distracted. Let's work on these things here. Let length equals 4 plus RNG roll dice. 1 to 4. There's going to be at least 4 long. Oh, 5. 5 to 8 characters long. Okay. If I %2 is 0, then we're going to put in a value. A. E. Oops. E. I. O. And U. 4, 3, 2. Okay, and then else, we're going to put in a consonant name. Let's equals match. It's 21 consonants. D, G, H, J. Oh, I'm just going to put a whole bunch and then we'll delete what we don't need. All right. Okay, we got too many there. Underscore. And that closes that, that closes that, that closes that, and that closes that, and we return name. Okay, so now we have to insert a 1 on all these guys. Mad Fury, thank you for the follow. Hopefully you like roguelikes, because that's what we're doing this week. C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, E, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, and Y. And this becomes Z. Okay. So there's our name creation. This function starts with the stem of scroll of, and then adds random letters. Every other letter is a vowel with consonants in between. This gets you nonsense, but it's pronounceable nonsense, such as aladi or omruxo. It doesn't give any clue as to the nature of the underlying scroll. Next, we need a way to denote that this entity has an obfuscated name. We'll make a new component called obfuscated name. Okay, I'll put it along with the other magic item stuff here. Obstruct obfuscated name, which just takes a string. And we'll need to add them to main. right? And there it is. Okay, and then in the save load system, name right there, and then that one. Okay. Vegan, 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 vegan uncle. Hello, vegan, 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 vegan. How are you? Thank you for joining the stream. Vegan asks, you code games in Rust? I'm learning how to code games in Rust. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going through this roguelike tutorial. Let me throw the link into chat if you want to follow along or read ahead. What I'm doing is going through the tutorial, writing up the stuff in Rust and learning how Rust works all at the same time. It's very exciting. I'm trying to make it exciting. Let me know if my voice is too monotone. We'll also need to add these tags when we spawn an item. So in raw master, we'll need to add the following to spawn named item. First, up at the top, we copy the name mapping to avoid borrowing problems. And then we extend the magic handler to do this. Oh, Clippy complains about a single match. Okay. So let's go back to raw master. Spawn named item, which I thought I had very close, but apparently not. All right, so at the top, we're going to do this. We copy the name mapping. Yeah, so we're doing this line here. I guess we can, so we have item template here already. So we're going to just add this extra line here. ECS, fetch, crate, map, master dungeon map, scroll mappings, clone. So we get, every time we spawn a named item, we're going to clone this whole list, which seems painful. All right, and then in the magic section, after this, we're going to do magic match on a single item to stop Clippy whining until we add more. I guess for okay, I'll do it. I was going to say, well, let's just refactor it now and then defactor it later, but naming as stir. And EB is equal to EB with obfuscated name. We're cloning it here too. And then otherwise do nothing. And now we return to GUI and make a new function to obtain an item's display name. All right, let's see if this builds, or checks anyway. It does not. Oh, it's a private field. I forgot to make it pub. Okay. I don't know. Did they specify it to be pub up above? Now I have to look. They did. And identified names also needs to be pub. Okay. Okay. So that's that. We did this part. And now we're going to go to GUI and create a new function. Where should we put it? Show cheat menu, show menu. Yeah, so this is what I want to do. Is I want to use the show menu for the buying and the selling. But they're different with the way they handle the keys, so that's going to be interesting. Pub fun get item display name. Oh, why did I do that? And then item entity, and returns a string. If let some name. Get item. If ECS read storage magic item. Get item is some. And then we grab the dungeon master, ECS fetch. Great. Map. Master dungeon map. And then what do we do with it? So if it's identified, then we just return its name. Otherwise, if let some obfuscated get item, then we're going to return that name. Otherwise, oops. The string. Else, name, clone. It's not a magic item, so we just return its name. And it's not an entity. So we have a bug in our code somewhere. Okay, so this is get item display name, and then we have to use it. Once again, we need to go through all the places in GUI that reference an item's name and change them to use this function. And draw a UI that's actually shortened some code since we don't need the actual name component anymore. So this doesn't get used anymore. Get item color we have, and then instead of item name, we say get item display name. Didn't shorten the code because it stretched the code out, didn't it? Okay, we don't need this. Oh, it still doesn't like this. Oh, we don't have name. Yeah, that's right. So in the consumables, we do the same thing, right? We don't have an item name, but we can get the item display name. And we have to add this. That's it. Okay, good. But this is just changing the item display name here, right? Once again, we're going to worry about tooltips later, although we will tweak them later to not reveal the actual identity of an object. The other ones we changed earlier. And can trim out some of the name components. Okay, so let's look for get item color. And every place that this exists, we should be able to get item display name, right? This is just the menu, show menu. Yep. So get item display name, GS ECS entity. And where else are we doing get item color? So we can, oops, get item display name. Yep, okay, so that I think covers all of those bases. We have 3 warnings. Oh, and then we can trim out some of the name components. Okay. Let's see, every place we use this, we don't need name anymore. Yeah, names. Oh, this, we don't need this here. But we do need it for... Well, maybe we don't. Can we do that? Can you join on a single item and filter? No. You can't. So I'm going to leave that in because that's simpler than trying to fix that code. Although probably the warning is coming from the fact that we're not using name, right? Or maybe we could say let inventory is backpack iter and then the filter. Right? Oh, you can't iterate on that. So should we cheat and look at what they did? Then it's no longer item O. Well, let's see if there's no iter is necessary. No, and you can't join on a single thing. Oh, you can. Okay. And then this says join on this guy. We don't need the names in here anymore. Which means we don't need the names here anymore. Which means we don't need, oops, that. Yeah, okay. So that's good. We still have two warning. Cargo check. Okay, 658. We don't need this name anymore. And that means names up here. Yeah, this is the vendor cell menu. Oh. Oh, I have to change that. Hang on. There. There. Okay. All cleaned up. Once that's done, if you cargo run the project scrolls. What? Oh, if you cargo run the project, scrolls you find will display obfuscated names. Okay. Let's take a moment to try that out. And then I have to find scrolls, which means, so were they showing a vendor? Yeah, I don't have scroll of anything yet, so maybe if we go to see a vendor, let's refresh here. We don't start with a town portal scroll, but maybe we can, no, rations, meat, and beer. Okay. I'm going to turn on God mode so I can skip to the next thing, and maybe we can find some, that's not a scroll. Can we find any scrolls? Scrolls look like parentheses. There's says you pick up the town portal scroll. And I have 2 scrolls now. So this needs to change as well. Beacon says that game actually looks fun. Yeah, it's a reasonable amount of fun. I just picked up a confusion scroll. So this needs to change here, right? We don't want, we want to pick, you want to say you pick up a scroll of something. Are they going to address that? Yeah, here it says you pick up the magic missile scroll. Now that we're properly hiding them, although we're not really, right? Let's introduce a mechanism for identifying scrolls. The most obvious is if you use a scroll, it should be identified. All right, well, let's check in this stuff. Git status, git add source and raws, git commit, obfuscated scroll names. Okay. .434 asks, how often do you change your avatar? I don't. I haven't ever. I'm not sure what you mean. The most obvious, right, if you use a scroll, it should be identified, and all the existing future instances of that scroll type become identified. The identified names items list handles the future, but we'll have to do some extra work to handle existing ones. We're going to have quite a few potential identifications occur. When you use and identify magic, eventually, when you use or equip an item, when you buy one, since you know you're buying magic mapping scroll, it makes sense that you identify it, and probably more as we progress. We'll handle this with a new component to indicate that an item may have been identified in a system to process the data. Oh, okay, so, whoa, okay, this item use system is getting huge, isn't it? I wonder if there's a limit on how many they can put in here. So if we can add a new component, let's put it with the other magic things. Pub struct identified item. Okay, and then we'll put it, add it to main. .434, thank you for the follow. All right, let's just, oops, didn't want to do that. I wanted to sort them like that. Okay. So now we have identified item in there, and then we want to go in save load system. I guess we can just put it here, identified item, like that. And then we're going to extend our inventory system. And our item use data is huge. Okay. 434 says, I appreciate you paying attention to your audience. Yeah, I mean, half the fun, 90% of the fun of doing this streaming is interacting with people. So that's why I do it. This is awful. How do I know what's there and what's not there? I'm going to assume that all we're doing is adding this bottom one at the bottom here, right? Come on, there we go. So we're going to add a write storage of identified item. And then we'll just add it to the bottom of this list here. And it's write storage, so it's got to be mutable. Identified item. That's the data. And then after targeting, line 113, of course we don't have line numbers matching up because we're doing things a little differently. So this is after targeting. So this is the targeting code right here. So we'll just put a comment here, identify. Name is get, use item, unwrap. Is that it? Nope. .name.clone. Okay. Oh, I need an expect on that. Okay. Also in main, where we handle spawning items that were purchased, we should identify those. Okay. Let me just run a quick cargo check on this. I have to add this here. There we go. Okay, so now vendor result by is what we're looking for. So we have this result.2, result.3. We have the pools, we have the player pools, and now we have let mutt identified. Okay, and then we're going to insert it right there. Okay, and then we're going to drop. Really? Drop identified, and then it's going player pools and then dropping the player entity. That's different to what we had already. Huh. Oh, because we need to grab the player entity here. I got it. I see. So we're moving this down. And up here, we're going to get the player entity. Let mutt player, no, not mutt, player entity. Like that. And then we drop that. And then we say let player pools, and then standard mem drop player entity. Okay. Got to make the bar checker happy, right? And then player pools changes to this player entity. Okay. Let's see if that checks. Yes, it does. Now that we're adding the components, we need to read them and do something with the knowledge. We need one more helper function in rawmaster to help this process. Is tag magic? I guess we can just, oh, these are private functions. We want a public function, so let's go to, I guess we can just put it right up here above spawn named entity. Pub fun is tag magic. So we're grabbing the raws. I'm hoping to be able to copy paste something, but I guess not. Let raws is super raws lock unwrap. Wow. Okay. What is this doing? Item, template, magic is some. Otherwise, it's false. All right. So what is it doing? It's going the item index to see if it exists, and then it's going to look it up in the items, and then see if there's a magic tag on it, and that's going to tell us whether or not it's tag magic. Since identifying items is purely an inventory matter, we'll add another system to the already large inventory system. Spot the hint that we're going to make it into a module one day. All right, so now we have an item identification system. All right, so inventory system. We'll throw this at the bottom, I guess. And I'm going to do type Why are we doing it that way? Why are they doing create component stuff all over the place now? We'll just pull it in at the top. And then we have two read storages of item and name, and write storage of obfuscated name, and then the entities. That's that. So now we're going to say impl take a system take a for item identification system. Type system data is equal to like that. And then our run code does so we destructure the whole thing, right? Okay, and then for PNID in player and identified. So this is going to run every tick, right? We're going to look to see everything that's been identified, anything that gets added to the identified items list. And if it's not identified and it's a magic item, id.name, then I'm going to insert it into the identified items, name clone. So every entity that is an item and has a name if it's equal to the thing we identified, then we're going to remove it from the obfuscated names. And then we clean up here. All right. Does this check? We also want to modify spawn named items to not obfuscate names of items we already recognize. We'll start by also obtaining an identified items list. But we have a bug here. And master dungeon map, right? Okay. It's getting very big, isn't it? Oh, an item? Item is also not found in the scope. Huh. That's bizarre. Because this is the item system. An obfuscated name. And I can't satisfy the trait bounds because we don't have the data. Okay, perfect. All right, so in spawn named item, which is here, hold on, right? To not obfuscate names of items we already recognize. We'll start by also obtaining an identified items list. All right, so here's where we grab scroll names. I guess I'm going to change this now to DM. Just fetch that like that. And then say let scroll names is dm.scrollmappings.clone. And then let identified is dm and then standard mem drop dm. Okay. Then we'll make some name obfuscation conditional upon now knowing what the item is. Okay, so that's down in this section. And we do all of this. Oops, I guess this goes here, and then these get indented, right? Like that. Finally, we add it to run systems in main. Okay. I wonder if it matters where it goes. They usually say where it goes if it matters, but I don't know if it matters. Maybe we'll put it after all the item stuff. And then we'll say item ID, run now, selfies yes. And then we up here. Oh. It should already be there, right? It should already be part of it. Let's see what blows up if we run a cargo check here. Okay, that worked. We didn't need to add this beginning part. So if you cargo run now, you'll be able to identify items by using or buying them. Okay, let's try that. And that means we need to refresh here. Of course, it doesn't really help if we can see what it is. Now I know there's some games where depending on the effect of the scroll, whether or not the scroll's effect was obvious, that you identify it. This, but we can't buy anything here. This is not obfuscated. Oh. I just picked up a health potion. It says a scroll of Auric Collab. That's not right. And I think that's a bug that I did here was health potion. This is not magic. Or it doesn't have a scroll naming, it has potion naming. I'll just change that to potion naming for now. The rest are all scrolls. I think health potion is the only potion. Alright, so I'm not going to worry about that one. Let's grab this guy. It's a town portal scroll, but we don't know yet because it's in Exakaza. There's a bandit. There's another bandit. Let's see if we can find another. Oh, I can just kill these guys here. Wow, tough to kill. But they didn't drop any scroll. Oh, that's right. We want to be able to point at the scroll too and see. There's a scroll. So if I point at this, it says confusion scroll. So we're going to have to update the tooltips to do that. I want to grab two of the same kind of scroll. Go away. Meat. I want to grab two of the same kind of scroll so we can see the identification happen. And prove that that's working. Oh, great. Now I'm hungry. I do have beer and dried sausage. Okay. And there are rations around. I should be able to pick those up. I don't think God mode saves me from that. Okay, so now I have 2 scrolls of Ubebu, which we know are confusion scrolls. Can we cast confusion on... Oh, now I've lost all the creatures. I've killed them all off. I guess we can cast a confusion scroll without having a creature nearby. What's this one? That's another magic missile scroll. Okay, and there's a health potion. Okay. So let's just cast a scroll of Ubibu. Shift 4 gives me a range. And I can cast it on this water here. And now this changes to confusion scroll. Okay, so that worked. We were able to identify it. Even though we couldn't see any effect, we're just doing a thing as if you use it or if you buy it, you've identified it. Okay. Let's commit these changes. Reveal items, scroll items on use. Okay. Now we have obfuscating potions. Let's see, I have a little over half hour left. Okay. We might be able to finish out the chapter, maybe? We can use a very similar setup for potions, but we need to think about how they are named. Typically, potions combine some adjectives with the word potion. Viscous black potion, swirling green potion, etc. Fortunately, we've now built a lot of the infrastructure framework, so it's a matter of plugging the details in. We'll start by opening spawns.json and annotating our health potion with the naming convention potion, which I already did. Then in Raw's Rawmaster, we'll repeat the get scroll tags functionality, but for potions. We want to retrieve all the items with a potion naming scheme, and we'll need it to generate potion names. All right. So we have get scroll tags. We'll just create a get potion tags. These are all the same. This changes to potion. And we're done. Okay, now we'll revisit map, dungeon, and visit the master dungeon map. So this should actually just pass in a tag name, right? So we only have one of these functions instead of 2. Okay, we're going to add potion mappings to our master dungeon map. We don't need to do that because we're just using the default. Now underneath the make scroll name function, we're going to define some arrays of string constants. These represents the available descriptors for potions. You can and should edit these to fit the game you want to make. Okay, where's make scroll name? Okay, so down here. Oh, it was at the bottom. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me just... I don't know what they have here, so I'll just put them in like this. Okay, I don't know why the main stuff came in there. We'll also need a function to combine these to make names, including duplicate checking, to ensure that we never have 2 potion types with the same name. Okay, so fn make potion name. And it returns a string. So every time we call make potion name, we pass in a list of names we've already made. So we're going to loop indefinitely until we come up with a good name. Adjectives. Wow. It's hard to type with all caps. RNG, roll, dice. Dot len as I32 as usize -1 to string. Yep, semicolon. So that's that, and then we're going to add a space to the name. And we're going to potion color it. I don't know why we're not just using format, but okay. And then name is potion. If used items contains name we'll add it there and return the name. Okay. And then we loop again. If we use up all the names, then this will loop forever. So we can't have more potions than there are this times this many times. Okay, then in the Master Dungeon map, constructor will repeat the scroll logic, but with our new naming scheme and hash set to avoid duplicated names. Okay. So up in the constructor, we'll add this here, let mut used potion names. Amoni. Thank you for the follow. Moni says, I just realized this was amethyst. Cool. Yeah, so it's the bracket. Yeah, amethyst's bracket lib. Back when it was called RLTK. What happened to RLTK? This is RLTK, renamed because it's increasingly finding usage outside of just roguelikes. Yeah, so this is the amethyst's bracket lib. For potion tag in. And actually this tutorial was written to teach you Rust and teach you roguelikes and teach you entity component systems using the bracket lib. Masked name. All right, so that's that. That gives us a nice random set of names. In the test I just ran, health potion's obfuscated name was slimy violet potion. Doesn't sound delicious. No, it doesn't. All right, so we can do a quick, this should just check, right? And then we can do a quick build. Oop. That should be a colon, not a semicolon. And of course, used items doesn't exist at that point. Not found in the scope. Oh, used items. I call it used names. Yes, used names. Here we go. Okay, so if I generate the WASM for this, oh, that's not going to work, right? Because we still have to do this. The last thing we need to do is add an obfuscated name component to potion spawns. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Amoni says, I'm diving into Rust game dev features with Unity background. This book and your channel is valuable finding. Thanks for streaming. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I certainly am. I'm having a lot of fun with this. So before we run this, actually, I want to do this raw master change here because I don't think it'll work until we link it into the raw stuff. I mean, I can let's switch over here and see if we can find usually health potions are plentiful. At least as far as I was able to tell from before, but not now, huh? Oh, there's one. So if I hover over it, it still says health potion. If I try to pick it up, now it says unidentified magic item because we didn't do this last little bit of code here, right? This part, this part here. So we're going to match on potion. potion names. So it's just the same line. Epic says, explain it to me like I program. I don't know how. I'm not good at that. All right, so this should be potion names now, right? That's the only difference there. And we don't have to worry about this clippy thing anymore. Oh, Epic Dick programs in COBOL. Nice. It goes along with your name. I'm impressed. I like your commitment to the bit. Okay, we've done all the remaining hard work. So now if you cargo run, walk around and find a potion, you will find it. It has an obfuscated name. There's glowing indigo potion. Let's see what this one... Oh, potion name is not here because I need to pull it from somewhere. Where does this come from? Right here. So we need to say let potion names is DM potion mappings clone. Did I miss that? I did miss that right there. My eyes just glossed right over it. Everything says return and enter are way too next to each other on the keyboard. Yeah. No, I sometimes will, if I'm typing a word with an apostrophe, my finger will slip. My pinky slips with an apostrophe, hits the apostrophe, hits return, and so it's like halfway through the sentence. Like if I say, don't apostrophe, let me stop you. My finger slips. Okay, so that's that. So this should check. Oh, it already checked. Okay, and then let's generate this Watson, and now we should be able to see the glowing indigo potion instead of our health potion. It still says it here. He hasn't addressed this one yet, so maybe we're getting to that. I'm not going to cheat and look ahead yet, though. All right, refresh, begin new game, God mode, teleport, find a health potion. They're purple exclamation points, so they should be easy to spot. Let's reveal. We can just walk around this way. There's a trap. I'm not seeing any potions. Real quick here. I wonder if we go to the next. Let's go to the next level. There's underground. There's one. Okay, so if I point at it, it still says health potion. If I pick it up, it says oily indigo potion. So that's working. If I find another one, let's see if we can find another one. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's see if we can find another one somewhere. Or maybe we go back to town. Oh, that's right. I don't have the town portal scroll anymore. Let's go down one more level. There's some. Okay, so if I point at it, it says health potion. If I pick it up, we have 2 oily indigo potions. If I use Shift 4, yes, then it becomes health potion. Okay. Very good. So this is all looking good. Let's commit these changes. So all we did was add obfuscated potion names. Actually, let's check in with Clippy. We haven't done that in a while. Cax episode 2 says cool. Thank you, Caxa. Okay, so Clippy likes it. Git add source, git commit -m obfuscated potion names. Yeah, so we did obfuscated potion names, and those will automatically get revealed because it's all part of the same system. All right, So we got 20 minutes left. Can we do this? Other magic items. We should also support other magical items without a special naming scheme. Let's open up spawns and define magical longsword +1 and give it a generic name in the naming scheme. Oh, we just call it unidentified longsword. Interesting. All right. There's a rusty longsword. There's a longsword, and we have to add a longsword +1 now, right? So +1, and we're going to add magic class common and naming okay. See how we've adjusted the stats to reflect its magical status? No, I missed that part. Okay, weight is lighter, base value is up to 100, and initiative penalty is only 1. Hit bonus gets a 1, we get 1d8 +1, and still melee and might. Oops. I wonder if this is a bug here. I'll have to look in the regular code. Alex Undov, thank you for the follow. Okay, so it's lighter. You have a less of initiative penalty, and the base value is, so it's more expensive to buy. And it gets a +1 on base damage. And the hit bonus goes from 0 to 1. So you're more likely to hit, plus you're also more likely to do more damage. It hits more frequently, does more damage, weighs less, and is worth more gold, and has less of an initiative penalty. That'd be a good find. We should also add it to the spawn table, right? So I guess we could just throw it in here. And then the weight is going to be 100. Min depth 3, max depth is 100. So it's going to be pretty rare, right? We aren't generating any new names, so there's no need to build a naming system. Unless you want to. So we'll jump straight into spawn named items, and then we'll just use this, a basic name. Include the specified name if no name is provided. Okay. Let's save that. Let's go into raw master and potion here, and then this, we'll just use this code here. EB is EB with obfuscated name, and the name is going to be magic naming claw. That's pretty simple. Oh, only if the template has, only if it has a magic template, which this does. No, this doesn't. Oh yeah, okay, I was looking at the wrong line. There we go, okay. So it's magic, sort of. Okay. If you cargo run now and rush to level 3, I use cheats / as your friend, you are highly likely to find a magical longsword. Right, because we made the weight 100. Alright, let's generate this. Look, they're all over the place. Alright, let's rush to level 3. Come on. Finish building. We're up over 20 seconds now. Okay, so that's level 2. Here's level 3. Yeah, so you can see the longswords all over the place. Okay. Longsword +1. It says if you point at it, if you pick it up, it says you pick up the longsword +1. And if I look at my inventory, it says unidentified longsword, but it's green, so you can see that it's magic. So how do you reveal it, right? Because you're not really using it. Right, we're going to change the magical longsword's weight back down to something reasonable and make common longswords more frequent. Also, if you've given a character any free items in Spawner, go ahead and remove them unless you want them to be ubiquitous. Okay, so yeah, I'm still confused as to where it gets identified, right? I mean, we need to change these, obviously. It shouldn't identify it in the pickup message. If I equip it, it now gets equipped with the name. Okay, so as soon as I equip it, it gets identified. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let's change the raws back. Or the weights back. So the weight should be a lot lower. And this, you're saying bump that up to 2, right? Yeah. Okay. And then tooltips. Okay, now yeah, we've still got an issue to handle. If you mouse over an item, it displays its actual name rather than the obfuscated name. Okay, let's check these changes in. Yeah, so we added longsword +1. And that's all we did. Okay, get added long sword +1. Okay. So we're going to open up GUI to fix the tooltips. So in draw tooltips, we need to grab the obfuscated name. So there's get screen bounds. Arzu, thank you for the follow. Also, let me know your preferred pronunciation of Arzu. It's fun to say. Okay. So we have a get screen bounds. We get read storage for a whole bunch of things. We're no longer grabbing names, right? Just like before. We got positions, hidden, attributes, pools, and entities, but we don't need names anymore because we're going to call the get item display name. There we go. So we still have this, we still have these lines still exist, this line still exists. Huh. Why are these hard-coded in here? We're hard-coding the 49 and 40 here. And that doesn't exist in here. All right, I'm going to ignore that and then see what goes on here. Because there's the map visible tiles. Here's the tip boxes. For entity name, oh, we no longer need name, right? So entity position and hidden. Get rid of that one. Right, position X is mouse map pause, position Y is mouse pause 1, let tooltip is tooltip new, tip add, and instead of this, we're going to call get item display name ECS entity. Right? And then we're done. And if you mouse over things now, you'll see the obfuscated name. And then information leakage via the log. Okay, so let's fix that as well. There's another glaring problem. If you watch the log while you pick up or drop an item, it shows the item's real name. The issues all occur in inventory system. So we'll take our outside the ECS function from GUI and adapt it to work inside systems. Here's the function. Obfuscate name. That's not in here. Oh, it's in GUI. This here, get item display name. Now we're going to suddenly call it obfuscate name. And we have to change everything. Uh-oh. I don't want to have to duplicate all this code. Okay, as far as I can tell, they're saying create a new... Yeah, create a new function called obfuscate names in inventory system. And it's basically this whole code, except we grab it using input parameters instead. And then we have to change the item collection system to use it. All right, so let's copy this whole thing. Let's move over to our inventory system. And we'll add the function here, but we're going to call it obfuscate name. It's going to be a private function, and it's going to take in all the stuff, right? So we're going to grab item entity. Name is going to be read storage name. Magic items going to be read storage magic item. Obfuscated names. And then we have DM, which is going to be the master dungeon map. Right, and that's going to return a string. And then let some names as names get, so we don't have to worry about all of this. We just say names. And then we just say here, we just say magic items is some. Right, magic items is some. DM. We don't need that line anymore. So that stays the same, that stays the same. Then this changes here. Get item. Name clone. Nameless item. Okay, so this all looks good. It's not used, so we should get a warning about it not being used, and I made a mistake there. Magic item doesn't exist. And is some. Oh, I forgot the get item. There we go. Okay, so we get two warnings. The first warning is the fact that obfuscate name is not being used, and the second warning is that we had a first warning. So then we can change the item collection system to use it. So here's the item collection system. But now it needs a lot more data. So it needs a read storage for magic item, a read storage for obfuscated name, and a read expect for the master dungeon map. Okay. Name. Okay, that's fine. This is a magic item. And then master dungeon map. And down here we need to extend this. And then we're going to call obfuscate name. And then DM. Right? So that's the only change there. Everything else is the same. Likewise, we need to adjust item dropping system, which is, here we are. So it needs the same three that we did here. Right, magic item, obfuscated name, and master dungeon map. We'll extend these guys here. Amoni says ECS is somehow similar to database design. One entity split into multiple tables called components. Yeah, the idea is, and I don't know how well this works in practice, but the idea is that you have a component, an array of components of each one of these is a component, right? So you have a position, and you have an array of those positions, and you have in backpack, and you have an array of all the in backpack components, and each one of them has an entity it refers to. So there's a list of entities as well, right? And the way it's supposed to work in theory is that it's easier to iterate over an array of positions and do some transformation to those positions. And this makes it faster to cache. It makes it faster for the CPU because the CPU can prefetch all the data as it's easy doing a bunch of serial reads along in memory. So it's able to pull it in advance, prefetch all the data. And so you're able to operate faster by splitting out components and operating just on the components. In practice, I don't know how well it works because you really are going through a bunch of different components as you're running through the data that you want to modify. And so you're still doing random reads. So I don't know. I haven't seen any papers written on how well the ECS performs above and beyond a regular DB or even an in-memory database system. All right, so we've done this change here. Now for this here, we need to change this name. So you drop the obfuscate name. And DM. I think it's just DM after that. Yep. Okay. Caspa, hello there to you too. Thank you for joining the stream. You joined just at the end, so unfortunately, because I'm about to wrap up. Another issue, we've color-coded various magical items. A sharp-eyed player could note that a scroll of blah is actually a fireball scroll because of the color. The solution is to go through spawns.json and make sure that items have the same color. Okay. Or you could make it such that unidentified items have certain color, and then once you've identified it, it has its quote natural color. Amoni says it's great for game design as well. ECS is great for game design as well. Easy to add remove features since the game logic consists of separate systems. That makes sense. Black Gudon says error, unexpected Obi-Wan encountered. Was I acting Obi-Wan-ish? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this was thrown in here at last minute and great expense. And this needs a little more explanation, I think. Let's do a quick check, a cargo check here. Let's do a clippy and then call it a stream. So we got through the entire chapter of identifying magic items and item identification, which is good. Git status, git add source, git commit, fix. Oh, I guess we should run it first. We'll do a quick build and run here to make sure that when we pick things up, it actually does have the obfuscated name in them. In 20 seconds, we will do that. Okay, there we go. Pick a new game. All right, so now I should be able to go to the next level here and pick up magic items. Okay, and if I tooltip over it, it does say scroll of a Puridom. If I take it, it says a scroll of a Puridom, which is good. And as you was pointing out, ooh, that's a dagger, not a longsword. Okay, I was wondering if that was one of the special longswords. So now when we picked it up, it actually said scroll of a Puridom, right? I missed that. I missed it. I'm gonna have to go find another scroll now. Come on. Wow, there's nothing in this game, huh? And we also have that bug where the player can walk through walls and other NPCs can walk through walls. We got to fix those. Wow, nothing. All right, let's go to the next level. I'm sure yeah, there's something there. What's this? Scroll of LQ. Pick it up. Yep, picked up the scroll of LQ. Okay, so it worked. Daniel42 says the game looks like a text editor. Well, I mean, it's a traditional roguelike, right? It's the way roguelikes looked back in the day, before fancy graphics and things. Picked up a viscous red potion. Okay, so this is all working really well. I think it's good to go. Let's do a git. We did a git add, a git commit. All we did was add, yeah, so git commit. Use obfuscated names in log and in tool tips. All right, let's push this up. Oh, this is my other one. And so we're going to get back to locks next week. But this week we're going to continue to work on our LTK tutorial. So let's take a look at these commits. There we go. We did a bunch of things today. And then tomorrow we're going to look at the next chapter, which is called Effects. So there's a little teaser for you. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining me on the stream. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And I will see you tomorrow with a little more roguelike. Take care, everyone.